Takulandirani ku AMTV Malawi kuchimake kwa nkhani zenizeni. Ngati nkhani imeneyo kuno kulibe, dziwani kuti nkhani imeneyo ndi yabodza.
And warm wishes for the new year 2026 to you all from the Malawi Electoral Commission. Today, the Commission is pleased to announce that it has planned to conduct by-elections on 17th March 2026 to fill vacancies in 5 constituencies and 9 wards. For the parliamentary election, the by-elections will take place in the following constituencies: Nkhotakota Liwaladzi, Lilongwe City Bwaira, Dedza Mtakataka, Blantyre West, and in Rumpi Central. For the local government elections, the by-elections will be held in the following wards: Iyembe Ward in Karonga Songwe constituency, Luinga Ward in Mzuzu City North constituency, Linthembwe Ward in Dowa Ngala constituency, Chilobwe Ward in Lilongwe Chilobwe constituency, Nsitu Ward in Chinji South constituency, Mikongo Ward in Mangochi North East constituency, Chanda Ward in Zomba Chikomwe constituency, Chilunga Ward in Zomba City North constituency, and Muonekera Ward in Cholo Goliati constituency. The constituencies and wards became vacant for various reasons, including postponement of electoral processes by the Malawi Electoral Commission, death of duly nominated candidates sponsored by political parties, nullification of the elections by the Malawi Electoral Commission, court orders and judgments either nullifying the elections or decisions by the Commission, and a winning candidate assuming another public office. The by-elections are being held to comply with Section 63, subsection 2b of the Constitution of the Republic of Malawi, which provides as follows: any by-election to fill the vacancy shall be held in the next quarter of the calendar year after the seat of the member becomes vacant, or if the circumstances do not so permit, then as expeditiously as possible, but a by-election shall not be held where a vacancy occurs within 12 months before the holding of a general election. At this juncture, allow me to present highlights of the calendar of activities between now and polling day on 17th March 2026. Number 1, registration of voters. For any election that should be held, the Presidential, Parliamentary and Local Government Elections Act mandates the Commission to conduct voter registration for a period of not less than 7 days and not more than 14 days. For these by-elections, the Commission resolved to open voter registration centers for 7 days from 31st January to 6 February 2026. Registration centers will open at 8 a.m. and close at 4 p.m. throughout the period, including Saturday and Sunday, without observing a lunch break. On the last date of voter registration, that is 6 February 2026, the Elections Management System will close the election management device for voter registration at 4 p.m. Eligible voters are therefore urged to present themselves at voter registration centers to process their registration earlier than 4 p.m. The Commission will register eligible voters aged 18 and above, or those who attain the voting age by 17th March 2026. I must emphasize that those registering must be eligible voters who did not register for the 2025 general election. Those who registered for the general election, regardless of whether they voted or not, need not register again. Remember, registering more than once as a voter is a crime, and whoever is found to have done so will be prosecuted. Number 2, no transfer of voters. All stakeholders are advised that there will be no transfer of voters in these by-elections. Those who registered in other areas but have now moved into the by-election areas are not eligible to transfer or to register afresh for these by-elections. As such, they will not be permitted to vote. Number 3, inspection of the voters' register. For these by-elections, the Commission has provided 2 days, that is 17th and 18th February 2026, when all registered voters, including those that registered for the 2025 general election, will verify their names in the voters' register at the center where they registered. This is a very important exercise, and the Commission is encouraging all registered voters in the by-election areas to participate. For this exercise, the centers will open from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. without observing a lunch break. Registered voters will also be able to verify their details by dialing *2509# on TNM and Airtel networks for free. All registered voters are encouraged to use this facility ahead of the set dates so that if they experience any challenges with their entry in the voters' register, they should present themselves at the center where they registered so that they can be assisted within the period allocated. All registered voters who lost their voter certificates are also encouraged to go to the center where they registered and get a replacement that they will be able to use on polling day during the same period. Number 4, proof of eligibility to register as a voter. Persons eligible to register as voters will, in conformity with Section 12 of the Presidential, Parliamentary and Local Government Elections Act, be required to present proof of registration with the National Registration Bureau. The acceptable documents as proof of national registration is any of the following: a valid national ID or an expired national ID. Stakeholders should note that expired IDs will be acceptable because the government extended the suspension of expiry dates of national IDs to January 2027, or an NRB system-generated printed slip bearing the individual's name and their unique national ID number. The Commission advises that it is the responsibility of every eligible voter to ensure that they have the requisite proof of eligibility when they present themselves for registration at a registration center. For these by-elections, there will be no staff from the NRB at the registration centers to register those that do not have national IDs or to render help to those who would have lost or have challenges with their proof of registration with the National Registration Bureau. Such people should visit the NRB offices nearest to them in advance before the registration period to be assisted. Number 5, monitoring by representatives of candidates and political parties. The Commission is informing all political parties and aspiring candidates that they can place up to 2 representatives at each registration center to monitor voter registration and inspection of the voters' register exercises. The deadline for submission of the names of the representatives to the respective Mec district election offices is 29th January 2026. For polling, political parties and independent candidates also have the right to place up to 2 representatives per polling station and constituency tally center to monitor the polling and vote counting processes. The deadline for submitting the names is 10th March 2026. Political parties and independent candidates are reminded that it is their responsibility to meet transport, subsistence, and other upkeep costs for their representatives that they will be deploying. Number 6, observation of electoral activities by civil society organizations. All CSOs and individuals who wish to observe their by-election activities stationed at any registration center will be required to apply for accreditation through the respective Mec district office. The deadline for applying to observe the voter registration and verification is 29th January 2026, whilst for polling the deadline is 10th March 2026. For all roving observers, they should submit their details, including a duly filled application form and passport photos, to the Malawi Electoral Commission Chief Elections Officer through email at ceo@mec.org.mw by 29th January 2026. Number 7, eligibility to contest in the by-elections. According to Section 38 of the Presidential, Parliamentary and Local Government Elections Act, A person shall not be qualified to be nominated for election as a member of the National Assembly or a councillor unless that person is a citizen of Malawi who has at the time of nomination attained the age of 21 and is able to speak and read the English language well enough to take active part in the proceedings of the National Assembly or the Council respectively, and is a registered voter in any constituency or ward as the case may be. Electoral stakeholders should note that academic or educational qualifications like the holding of a Malawi School Certificate, MSCE, or a first degree are not part of the eligibility criteria for election to any of the two positions. Number 8, nomination of candidates. As already pointed out, the vacancies have arisen for various reasons. Therefore, there are variations in the nomination processes, and these respond to the specific circumstances of each by-election, of which stakeholders are advised to take particular note as follows. Number 1, in all the by-election areas, new candidates are welcome to contest. This is regardless of whether they contested in another constituency or ward on 16 September 2025. Number 2, those who were duly nominated to contest in the 16 September 25 polls in the by-election areas, except in Rumpi Central Constituency and Muonekera Ward in Cholo Goliath Constituency, will not be required to submit new nomination papers. Instead, they will be required to collect, sign, and submit a letter of intent to contest to the Commission through their respective constituency returning officers by 4 p.m. on 20th February 2026, declaring their interest to contest. Should the Commission not hear from the concerned candidates by the closing date, it shall be deemed that they are not interested to contest in these by-elections. In Rumpi Central Constituency and Muonekera Ward in Cholo Goliath Constituency, all candidates will be required to pay nomination fees before collection of nomination papers, regardless of whether they contested in the 16 September 2025 general election or not. They just need to pay nomination fees at the bank and collect nomination papers at their respective council offices. Number 4, in addition to the above, candidates who were duly nominated to contest in the 16 September 25 general election will not be allowed to switch allegiance. Similarly, political parties that already sponsored a candidate to participate in the 16 September 2025 general election will not be allowed to change candidates. Number 5, all candidates who were duly nominated but withdrew from the race will be required to pay nomination fees and collect nomination papers again if they intend to contest. Number 6, all candidates who were duly nominated will not be allowed to transfer that nomination to contest in another by-election area. The nomination fees for the local government by-elections are as follows: 200,000 kwacha for male candidates and 100,000 kwacha for female candidates, as well as the youth and people with disabilities. For the parliamentary election, the nomination fees are as follows: 2.5 million for male candidates and 1,250,000 in respect of female candidates, as well as the youth and people with disabilities. To qualify for the youth category, a candidate should be less than 35 years of age on the day of presenting their nomination papers. For these by-elections, only those born on or after 21 February 1991 will be eligible to qualify for the youth category fee. Please note that it is the responsibility of the candidate to pay the appropriate nomination fees. Failure to do so may risk one nomination papers being rejected. To qualify for the preferential fees for people with disabilities, a candidate wishing to be classified in this category will be required to present a copy of a certificate of disability issued by the Malawi Council for Disability Affairs, MACODA. The certificate will be presented to the constituency returning officer along with the rest of the nomination papers. The Commission advises that it is the responsibility of a candidate to obtain the certificate from MACODA. Failure to present the certificate of disability will lead to disqualification of application of the preferential fees. Candidates or their representatives are advised to deposit in the appropriate bank account their nomination fees at the nearest branch of FDH Bank PLC using the pre-printed deposit slips. Upon depositing the nomination fees, the deposit slip should be presented to the council returning officer through the district election office based at the respective council offices or facility in order to collect the nomination fees and to be issued with a general receipt. Kindly take note that nomination papers will be available for collection from 20th January 2026 from the respective Mec district offices, and this process will continue up to 21st February 2026. Also take note that the nomination papers or fees cannot be swapped between candidates or between political parties. The name of the candidate or party on the deposit slip should match with the one that would appear on the nomination papers. Number 9, pre-examination and presentation of nomination papers. Candidates are encouraged to approach the constituency returning officer at any time to examine their nomination papers and supporting documents before they are submitted. In addition, the Commission has designated 20th February 2026 as a specific day when aspiring candidates or their representatives will go to their respective constituency returning officers with the nomination papers for pre-examination. Take note that this process can only be done physically and not through any other means of communication. Presentation of nomination papers shall take place on 21st February 2026 between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. For the purpose of assuring orderliness in the process, candidates will be allocated respective presentation time slots by the constituency returning officers. Number 10, official campaign period. The official campaign period for these by-elections commences today, 15 January 2026. In accordance with the law, the official campaign period shall be 60 days. Therefore, the campaign period will close on 15th March 2026 at 6 a.m. The campaign period is a separate activity from the nomination process. As such, aspiring candidates and their followers are free to start campaigning even before the presentation of nomination papers. Stakeholders and aspiring candidates are advised that engaging in campaign-related activities after this period constitutes a criminal offense, and any individual who campaigns outside the designated campaign period will face prosecution. The Commission is urging political parties, all candidates and their followers to focus on undertaking an issues-based campaign. They should refrain from using inflammatory language because in addition to breaking the law, this has the potential to infringe on other people's rights to campaign freely and could also stir political violence. Candidates and their followers should also note that the law has prohibited and criminalized the use of public resources for campaign purposes. This includes receiving any contribution or donation in cash or in kind from the state, any organ of the state or agency of the state, or any state-owned enterprise. For this purpose, public resource means any property owned by the government, an organ of the government, a statutory corporation, or body or state-owned enterprise. Further, All electoral stakeholders are reminded that the law has also banned the giving of handouts. Should anyone witness such act, they are advised to report to the Office of the Registrar of Political Parties within 7 days of that occurrence by dialing for free 4361 or sending an email to complaints@rpp.mw. 11. Pre-checking of polling materials. The Commission has designated 16th March 2026 between 9 a.m. and 12 noon for pre-checking of polling materials in all polling stations in the by-election areas. The presiding officers will open and check all the election materials, including the packaging for ballot papers, results sheets, and other election materials to ensure that they have received correct ones and in the right quantities. Representatives of independent candidates and contesting political parties are encouraged to be present for this exercise. However, I should state clearly that this exercise shall proceed even in instances where a political party or independent candidate representatives fail or delay to report at the polling station. After the pre-checking process of the electoral materials, presiding officers will brief independent candidate and political party representatives on the polling process. Number 12, polling, vote counting, and announcement of results. Polling will take place on 17th March 2026 from 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. As was the case during the 16th September 2025 general election, the Commission will deploy and use biometric voter verification devices for identifying voters at the polling station, along with the physical voters register. When going to vote, voters will be expected to take along with them their voter registration certificate for easy identification. If any voter would have lost their voter registration certificate, or for any other reason they cannot find it, they should still go to the center where they registered, and the polling staff will assist them to vote once they have been positively identified in the voters register. Vote counting will be done at the same polling station. It will immediately start after the close of voting at 4 p.m. or immediately after the last voter casts their ballot. Independent candidates and party representatives will be expected to sign and get a copy of the results, and another copy will be displayed at the polling station where voting took place. The presiding officer will then take the results to the constituency tally center, where they will be aggregated and then transferred physically and electronically to the main tally center. The Commission is expected to announce the results by 20th March 2026 from the main tally center to be located in Lilongwe. 13. Accreditation of civil society organizations. The Commission wishes to inform all CSOs that were accredited to conduct voter education in readiness for the 16th September 2025 general election that their accreditation is still valid for these by-elections. Accordingly, there is no need to apply for accreditation to conduct voter education for these by-elections. 14. Voter education. Regarding voter education and mobilization, the Commission will use the following approaches: national and community radios, sending SMSs, production and distribution of IEC materials, sensitization meetings that will, among others, target traditional and religious leaders, loud hailer for mass mobilization, and engagement and deployment of constituency civic and voter education assistants. 15. Launch of by-elections in their respective constituencies and wards. I wish to announce that the Commission has arranged stakeholders meetings to launch the by-elections in the constituencies and wards as follows. 16th January 2026, Dedza Ntakataka constituency at Mankamba TDC, Muonekera ward at Goliath TDC in Cholo, and 17th January, Iyembe ward at Iyembe TDC in Karonga, Lilongwe City Bwaila constituency at Bwaila Secondary School in Minor Hall, Blantyre West constituency at Chigumu Kireti DC in Blantyre. 18th January 2026, Rumpi Central constituency at Bumba TDC in Rumpi, Chirobwe Ward at Kasia FP School in Lilongwe, Chirunga Ward at Chikamveka FP School in Zomba City. 19th January 2026, Luinga Ward at Luinga Secondary School Hall in Mzuzu City, Msitu Ward at Waliranji TDC in Mchinji, and Chanda Ward at St. Martin's TDC in Zomba. 20th January 2026, Lintembwe Ward at Chinkoka TDC in Dowa, Nkotakota Liwaladzi constituency at Walemera TDC in Nkotakota, and Mikongo Ward at Malukula FP School in Mangochi. 16. Other parliamentary vacancies. The Commission wishes to inform the public that it is closely following the election cases currently under litigation in court involving the parliamentary election in Zimbahora constituency, which is before the Supreme Court of Appeal, and in Sanje South constituency, where the period within which any further litigation may be conducted is yet to elapse. 17. Special message on the by-elections. The Commission is advising the electorate to refrain from acts of violence, intimidation, and interfering with electoral activities including voter registration, inspection of the voters' register, and polling and results management. The Commission wishes to emphasize that every election is equally important and serious business, and is therefore appealing to all those that are eligible to register and vote to participate in the by-election areas accordingly. The Commission is further appealing to all political parties, aspiring independent candidates, and all stakeholders to take advantage of the by-elections to provide an opportunity for more women, persons with disabilities, and the youth to participate in the elections as candidates. The Commission is assuring all stakeholders that it is committed to implementing all the by-election processes in accordance with the laws governing the conduct of elections to ensure free, fair, and credible by-elections. May the Lord Almighty bless you. May He bless our nation Malawi, and I thank you for your attention.
Osaiwala kupanga subscribe ku channel ya AMTV Malawi.